So this week, former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin is back in a federal prison in Arizona after he was stabbed 22 times by another inmate. And now that inmate is 52-year-old John Torzak, and he has alleged ties to the Mexican mafia. And he said that he stabbed Chauvin and wanted to kill him on Black Friday so he could honor the Black Lives Matter movement as well as the Black Hand symbol from the Mexican mafia. And he does have a long record that does include other violent crimes. In this situation, he's being charged with attempted murder, assault with a dangerous weapon, and assault resulting in serious bodily injury.
Well, after the stabbing, Chauvin's lawyers argued that he'd be an obvious target for inmates who want to make a name for themselves. Like, ex-cops already have a hard time behind bars, but he in particular is infamous for being the officer who put his knee down on George Floyd's neck for over 9 minutes, and that resulted in his death. Despite Chauvin's lawyers arguing that health complications and drug use also contributed to Floyd dying.
Well, it makes a lot of sense that he's a target. I mean, the video of him murdering George Floyd on camera was seen around the world. It sparked a lot of different movements. Of course, Black Lives Matter movement was one of the main ones that were in support of George Floyd. But this isn't the first time that Derek Chauvin has terrorized the Black community in this specific way of kneeling on someone's neck. In 2017, he kneeled on a 14-year-old's neck and a now 40-year-old woman's neck. In both of those cases, they both received a $8.9 million settlement from the city of Minneapolis.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of comments online about the stabbing. Like, some people are calling it vindication. Others are saying they don't have any sympathy at all for Chauvin. There's also been talk that Black people aren't feeling anything for him, as some people have said there's no tears whatsoever for the murderer. Some have called it karma. Others have said because of what he did to George Floyd, what did he expect when he got to jail? However, George Floyd's family has not given any public comment on the recent stabbing.
The recent stabbing is the latest news, but just prior to that, maybe a few days before, he actually had filed one of his latest appeals. He's been filing multiple in attempts to overturn his conviction, but this most recent one was based on theories from a Kansas pathologist that George Floyd actually died from a rare tumor, but as we know, the medical examiner reports state that he died from a heart attack due to complications from Chauvin actually leaning on his neck. So we are very well aware of that news. But the appeal also states that there was concerns about riots in the city of Minneapolis, where we know there were tons of riots going on at that time. Here in Atlanta, New York City, all over the world, and other countries as well. So we are aware of what that kind of impact would do if that were to happen again. The appeal also suggests that the racial aspects of the case were used to kind of sway the jury into giving a guilty verdict. So that was something else that was definitely talked about. And I guess they were thinking the guilty verdict was done to appease the Black community, which is assuming that we would want vindication for George Floyd's death in that manner.
I think that Chauvin may deserve some type of protection while he's in jail.
In my humble African-American opinion, no. But if the justice system knows that an inmate is going to be potentially targeted in jail, I think they should put in more effort to ensure their safety.
Well, I believe when you're in jail, you can say I fear for my life, and you'll be put in can't remember the word for it. Yeah, put in solitary confinement. So if he wants it, he should just be able to say I fear for my life, and he'll just have to go to solitary, but he still has to serve that time.
How often do they honor that?
They say that from what I've heard, they usually honor it immediately. You don't even have to say, hey, this person is threatening me. You could say, I fear for my life, and they will put you in there. No telling when you get out. And solitary is not, it's not just a nice place. That's why people want to go to Gym Pop.
Agree, because if we give special treatment to Chauvin, then that opens the door for everybody else. Especially other high-profile inmates, to say, hey, I want special treatment too. And then does that equate to fair punishment? What about the victims?
Yeah, that's a good point.